Hi and welcome to episode 53 of The Party Line. This podcast was recorded on Aboriginal land and we stand in solidarity with our Indigenous brothers and sisters in their struggle against racism and capitalism.
Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling party line. Oh, I never will forsake thee, for I love this life of mine.
Hello.
Hi.
How's it all going?
Yeah.
Jordan, you have a lot of media appearances that you never tell us about until after they appear on my social
like
media
the everyday thing.
accounts.
Sorry.
Like you were on some weird TV show with like
Yeah, grannies.
grannies?
Yeah, that was quite
Can
fun.
you explain to me what that whole thing was?
So
The bit is there like kind of like Dame Edna sort of style.
Yeah, but like right wing, kind of like very right wing.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
But like it's a joke that they're right wing?
Yes, they're lovely people. Like they're playing like just old ladies, like grandmothers that I don't like that don't understand things. Like that's the bit. That's like, what do you mean housing crisis? I have like 6 homes. Like I'm.
Do you think
Yeah.
it's mean to stereotype old women as right wing idiots?
Perhaps.
Nah. I mean, this is a very specific subset of women. Like
Yeah.
most old women don't have 6 homes.
That's true.
Yeah, and that like one of them was wearing like a Country Women's Association badge.
That's a real thing.
Yeah, it's a whole. That's the bit.
Yeah. They called you a socialite.
Yeah, that was also the bit.
That was
it's like
good.
Melbourne socialite. That I thought was funny.
It'd be nice if you were a socialite. You
Yeah.
might have a bit more like money and stuff to
Yeah.
give us, and we might get like
podcast would look
presents.
better.
I'd like some presents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A few like rings.
Yeah,
I don't have much jewellery.
I like
I don't
rings.
really like it. but
Geordie's got
love
rings.
we could sell it.
yeah.
Yesterday was a good day for humanity.
Mm.
We're recording on Tuesday the 23rd, so Monday the 22nd. Keir Starmer had to debase himself in
It's very
front of
sad.
a national and international
He cried.
audience. Hugged his wife.
Yeah. He didn't cry about the genocide in Gaza or
No.
cutting benefits to pensioners.
He didn't even last as long as Theresa May.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? What an
Quite
absolute
impressive.
failure.
I did read someone was writing a report on the thing, and the line there was he looked miserable, which is so funny.
Yeah, the ABC was like, oh, this is the first time we've seen emotion on Keir Starmer's face the whole time. And it's like, yeah, because
Yeah.
he's lost his position. That's
Yeah,
all he cares
that's
about.
Yeah.
These people
literally
are
the only
just the
thing he
most
was in for.
self-interested fucks.
Does anyone else call him Kid Starver, or is that just an online thing?
I've not done that before, but it seems apt.
Yeah, I think so.
Andy Burnham's going to say the day though, right? He didn't vote for the Iraq war. He wasn't like a Tony Blair acolyte minister.
It's so crazy, isn't it? Like, you know, just the way that so much of formal politics is so superficial. It's just like, yeah, he wears round neck T-shirts and listens to
Yeah.
Oasis.
And he's from the north, which is like a whole different place.
He's the king of the north and he's going to save Labour and save Britain.
Look, it's a shiny new thing.
Yeah.
We
Same
do that
shit policies.
as well. Like
Yeah.
everyone, like wasn't Chris Minns' thing that he surfs or some shit?
Yeah. Or like Malcolm Turnbull wore leather jackets.
Oh yeah.
So that made him really...
Yeah.
Different.
When you stand for nothing, these marketing gimmicks are all you've got. Yeah.
But yeah, I think, you know, we're thinking about one of Keir Starmer's first moves when he became the PM when after Labor won that election was to attempt to kick old people off of their benefits. They were going to massively slash pensions. And this was what Keir Starmer started his prime ministership with. So
And then locking up all these like 50-year-old women for protesting against genocide as terrorists.
Yeah, well,
like, that's the average terrorist now is a 50-year-old white woman in Britain.
and now there's those young people who have been sent
Yeah.
to jail for a number of years for terrorism charges. And yeah, that was like one of the last things that happened before he quit. I wonder if Andy Burnham's going to release them from jail.
I'm sure. One funny thing is a friend of mine sent me a message, I think it was this morning, a link to a tweet by Paul Mason years ago who said objectively Keir Starmer's victory is going to be a step forward in the class struggle.
And for our listeners who don't know who Paul Mason is, because this is like a reference from 2008
Paul
sort of
Mason
thing.
was like once a socialist, then a leftist, then a Labour leftist, and now a Labour rightist.
Yeah.
Objectively is doing a lot of work there.
Yeah.
So then the other excellent thing that happened yesterday was Alan Greenspan, the former chair of the US Federal Reserve, finally died.
He lived to 100, I think.
It's so, like, the worst people
Yeah,
always get to live the longest.
They do a good job.
It's like, we're all probably going to die when we're like 70 or something like that, and they get to go to like 100
Bowel
or something.
cancer apparently is the new thing.
That's exciting.
People are dying in their 30s and 40s of bowel cancer. Yeah.
It's like straight out the gate. It's bowel cancer is the new thing.
It is.
back.
It literally
It's
is.
terrible.
It's gone up by like hundreds and hundreds of percent.
That's
Probably-
horrifying.
I mean, it's probably all of the ham. That's what they say.
Don't spend time with
Ham.
health professionals.
Yeah, ham.
What?
Processed meats,
Got
very bad.
carcinogenics in them, and they specifically get the bowels, apparently.
That's a shame.
So don't eat processed meat is the word I'm getting. My mum's been saying that for about my whole life. So
Yeah. One thing is, last week we talked about the World Cup. These guys are not interested in the World Cup. It's a disgrace, so we can't really do it. But one thing we didn't mention was the white power guy. You know
What?
Oh yeah, the
Don't do the
ref,
symbol.
the
He did it.
Australian, yeah.
Like this Australian, was it umpire?
yes.
You know, of all the people of all the world, an Australian umpire does the white power
But,
signal.
like-
And he got kicked out.
oh, like
'Cause
actually.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he got kicked out.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
You're
Like
asking
it
the
was
wrong
like
person.
actually like
It was
it was
legit.
a purposeful
He couldn't
action.
explain it. He's like, oh, I don't know why I did it. And
What?
Even FIFA were like, look, I'm sorry, you can't do white power salutes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that's Australia's reputation on the world stage. So it's good that, you know, it's good that we are going to lose.
So who are we supposed to go for now? Like what's the like?
I had this thing with yesterday because Egypt was playing New Zealand.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
Egypt won, didn't they?
Yeah, but like Egypt is
it's like a
a
fascist
big
say.
country with a military dictatorship. Their
Yeah.
coach is called the General,
Whoa.
and they're literally run by a military dictatorship
Yeah,
general.
I'm not sure about that.
And then New Zealand is this like small,
Yeah.
inoffensive country,
So
but
you
then
think-
they are sort of part of the Western Alliance.
So you
Yeah.
think maybe you should have gone for New Zealand?
Oh, I couldn't do it,
Yeah.
but I felt
Said
guilty
no
for
to
going for
AUKUS.
Egypt.
Well, said fuck off
Yeah, I
the
know.
submarines from
Yeah.
here though.
But they're sort of
So-
part of it anyway. They're basically.
I mean,
a state.
they're all a bit shit, aren't they?
Yeah. Cabo Verde are not shit. They've got nothing. They haven't done anything wrong.
So they're our team?
They're our team.
Okay.
All right.
Bet on that. Should we do some headlines?
Yeah.
Well, the first one I wanted to talk about was this article from Deep Cut News about the case of Gillum. It's Jason Gillum, who is a pianist, who people might remember wrote a piece that he dedicated to journalists who had been murdered in Gaza by the state of Israel. And for dedicating that piece of music that he wrote to the journalists, he got kicked out of the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra. His shows were cancelled. And that was 3 years ago now, I think. Maybe 2.
It was an attack on like the psychosocial safety of the fans of the theatre who happened to support the killing of those journalists.
So Jason Gillum's taken them to court, and the transcript from the courts of the MSO people trying to defend their position of firing him or cancelling him are incredible.
Yeah.
The one that I found the most shocking was from Suzanne Dembo, who was the director of philanthropy, which is just
Of course.
yeah, of course. Now she's the COO, the chief operating officer of the MSO.
Yeah. Capitalism rewards talent, you know.
Exactly.
They rise through the ranks through hard work. And
So then Jason Gillum's barrister says, you disagreed at the time and when you were reading this message that the Israeli killing of Palestinian media was a war crime. Dembo says, yes, I disagreed with that position. The barrister says, you believed that the Israeli killing of Palestinian media in the Gaza war was justified. Your Honour, I don't believe that the journalists were killed.
no, they're all actually alive.
Yeah.
They're in a Hamas bunker somewhere, just living it up.
I don't believe that they were killed.
It's what do you mean?
There's no war crime. There's no dead journalists.
Yeah.
Israel did nothing wrong is basically the positioning of the MSO chief operating officer.
And somewhere else they said something like, I don't think all these civilians were killed in Gaza deliberately.
no, yeah.
It's they just accidentally killed 60 to 70,000 people.
You don't accept that a single Palestinian civilian has been deliberately killed by forces controlled by the state of Israel. And then Meltzer, who's some higher up in the MSO, says, no, I don't.
These people, they're not going to lose their job. They're just
Yeah.
going to have to pay some money. You know, this is the people who run our world.
I mean,
But-
maybe not even have to pay some money.
Yeah, I mean, I think
That's
he's
the
probably
thing.
gonna
Yeah,
win.
I reckon. But
Well, shout out to Deep Cut again for just
Yeah.
doing such excellent pieces, just exposing
The scum of
what
the
these these people think they can get away with saying, not even just behind closed doors, but like just openly. Their reporting on the Royal Commission proceedings has been really useful, and so is this.
Basically, people like this are running the Royal Commission.
Yeah.
So they're, you know, it's weird for them to be on the back foot because usually the other ones like oppressing us.
Totally.
The next story, on a slightly lighter note, beer can boost spiritual or mental health, says Kirin, president. And Kirin is Japan's second largest beer company.
Nice
so,
beer.
you know, this is really objective commentary here from a impartial observer.
Yeah, I mean, because the last I heard, beer was actually a depressant.
What are you talking about?
I mean, if you drink enough of it, you can get really close to God. Yeah.
It depends which one.
Yeah. Anyway,
I think
so,
that stuff's interesting though, because it's obvious like there's a bit of a crisis. People can't afford things, so it's like, you know, where we've got to make people want to buy this thing. And I don't know, people might have seen that. Do you know De Bortelli or something? The
Like
wines.
De Bortelli, I think.
De Bortelli or whatever the fuck. I don't know.
I think his one's better. I think Jordan's pronunciation was closer
Well,
to
it's on the
mine.
radio
I think
ads.
so.
I don't know.
They're getting rid of all these like ancient vineyards because no one's buying their wine, and
What a shame.
yeah, it's really quite a shame. But they're like I saw the media reporting on it, and they're like, yeah, it's such a shame. These are ancient, you know, family-owned vines and whatever.
Everything's family owned. Like,
Yeah, that doesn't change it. But like, yeah, these people can't sell their wares, so some of them are, you know, getting rid of the vine, selling the land, and doing like making money elsewhere. Some of them are saying that beer can boost your spiritual and mental health.
yeah, it's a good line.
Probably selling the land to AI data center
fucking- who
companies
knows?
or something like that.
If anyone out there wants to give me a vine to grow in my backyard from like
yeah.
a vineyard, I'll happily take it.
You know, I live in Maribyrnong, not on the Maribyrnong River, but I can walk to the Maribyrnong River, and there's like all of these mansions, and there's one like Bond villain looking fucking house. We looked it up, and they've got a underground car park that's just full of luxury cars.
Nice.
But so their backyard is like on a slope leading down to the Maribyrnong River, and they literally fucking have like a vineyard in the backyard.
Incredible.
It's like, what level of rich are you?
That's great.
So you could be like that, Omar.
Except in Thomastown
Yeah.
with no river or ocean view, just suburbia.
We don't have an ocean view either.
Yeah.
I feel like you should
Oh yeah.
say the headline of this
This
one.
is rude, but I feel like I should have to do this one. The divisive white candidate for mayor of Africa's richest city. In Africa, they say actually mayor. Because,
Mayor.
Yeah, there's other vowels in there. So in other countries, we pronounce them.
Is this like an attack on us?
Yeah.
I don't-
I still don't get
I
why
don't feel
it's
particularly-
mayor. Like, I don't get that.
Because Australians are lazy. Anyway, tell the people the story. What's the story actually about?
We're in Joburg.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's racists in South Africa. If you would believe, some of them have a lot of money. Most of them are white. If you would also believe, one of them's, you know, running for mayor, and I don't know. It's not a great time in South Africa.
No, the ANC's been in power for ages. And so this story is about how like Johannesburg's falling apart, and this white figure, she's a member of the Democratic Alliance? Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
The Democrat Alliance?
Yeah.
It's like the ex-apartheid parties.
Yes.
They rebranded as the Democratic Alliance. Very democratic. That's why they ran a white supremacist state for decades.
And they've never been in government.
Yeah, since apartheid fell. She won in Cape Town, and now she's trying to run in Joburg. And just a few years ago, she was like basically just openly convicted of racism. And she's back. And the FT described her as a controversial figure.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, it's good to have controversy.
Sometimes they say divisive figure.
Divisive, yeah. Sometimes.
Nice.
But you're wrong, actually, Geordie, about most of the racists are white. There's actually this surge of anti-immigrant sentiment among black people.
It's true, yeah.
And the FT article actually highlights, apart from her candidacy, and she's actually leading right now, this anti-immigrant party called Action South Africa is run by this black billionaire who's really anti-immigrant. And like they quoted from his rally, like his election rally, and he pointed to all the like, what do you call them? Like slum, like it was in a slum, or a township. And they pointed to the little like informal shops on the side, on the periphery of the square. and they were like, all these shops are owned by foreigners.
God.
If I govern, I'll make sure they're all run by our people. You know, so these are like foreigners from like Zimbabwe and Angola and really poor places,
Yeah.
just trying to survive. So, you know, it just shows that racism is not really about color; it's about divide and rule, and nationalism, and so on, and it can appear anywhere.
Totally. Yeah. Sometimes the color just makes it a bit easier for them.
Yeah.
Well, the next one is another piece of good business advice from the Australian Financial Review.
Yeah, so people are struggling at the moment. Everyone's really finding it hard. And so they've done this really good investigative report about how much private schools cost. And
Lots of money.
And they calculate that if you don't send your kid to the top private schools, you can actually save like $100,000 just
Wow.
in primary school.
Yeah,
so
just
Wow.
in primary school.
primary school doesn't matter that much, you know. It's mostly just like
ABC.
yeah. As a primary school teacher, you know, I can tell you that. So
That's
they say
a position not endorsed by the podcast.
no, primary schools are very important. But they say you can save $100,000 in primary school, so then you can then invest it in the stock market or whatever else, and then send your kid to Scotch College.
Grow
That's about-
your-
Yeah, and use the investment to pay for the high school.
yeah. So thanks, AFR. Really relatable content.
I feel like the audience that they write for is like just so small.
Yeah, they're the ones with spending power, though. Yeah.
Speaking of spending power, wars trigger $12 billion venture capital rush into defence tech. So the investment at the moment is in more sophisticated weapons of war to murder and destroy people.
Yeah, so as soon as the war in Ukraine and then Gaza and then Iran and then Lebanon and then Syria and so on, like these monsters, they see dollar signs.
Yeah.
And then they're all marketing themselves as, oh, look, Ukraine shows that drones are really important. So we're going to have all these drone startups. And then AI tech is really important. So we're going to have all these AI startups market themselves as mass murdering companies. And these are the people who were crying poor. Remember the startup thing? Just like last week, last month?
Yeah.
These are the people. Most of the startups in Australia that are doing well are tech, like murder firms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Drone Shield and so on. So
They
and
have backed down on that.
exactly.
As well.
And these
Yeah.
are the people Labor thinks, oh no, you deserve a tax credit.
I was just reading in Red Flag an article by Clara in Sydney. She's the best. But she was talking about these data centres that have been springing up all over Sydney, Melbourne, etc. And she talks about this, like so much of the technology that's being utilised by the data centres is just these military things where they figure out how do you target individuals faster. You know, they have all of this technology where it's like if Omar was walking down the street, they could distinguish it from me and Geordie walking down
Somehow,
the street.
yeah.
From like thousands of kilometers away, I'll have you know. But yeah, it's like the thing about the kill chains, like they just these systems which make the decision about who to kill. And so we saw that in the opening gambit of the Iran war where America used AI.
Grok, no less.
It
came out.
Oh my
No.
God.
Yes. Grok.
That actually is just...
Yeah, that's just.
I mean, it does
outrageous.
really good, like fake porn. So I guess it can kill people.
You're not real.
No, it's real. Grok.
Oh my God. I
Yeah.
actually
Ugh.
feel like I need a minute to process that. That is fucked up.
Like, of course, though. Like,
I know.
Remember when it was Mecha Hitler?
yeah.
The good news is SpaceX went down by like $400 billion yesterday. So
Yeah, but it was always going to. Like,
I know,
that's
but-
the whole. That's how they were going to
it's
make
like
the money.
small mercies.
Yeah, true.
Small mercies.
The fact it went down means that they made heaps of money.
I know, because they sold early.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still,
Fucking-
whatever.
Do you think Gina Reinhardt lost any money?
Hopefully. Although $1 billion, she only invested $1 billion. It's
Only
fucking
$1 billion?
nothing. Yeah,
Oh,
she'll be
God.
fine. She's got like another 180 of that or something.
All right, this last one's for you too, Geordie.
Thank you. This was crazy. Yeah. $5 an hour. Airbnb owners erupt over ATO crackdown. And this is pretty much just like the ATO has sent out a communication that says, actually, we're going to enforce the tax rules this year. That's it. And now they're like, you know, their accountants are talking to them and be like, actually, you can't claim, you know, the benefits of it being an investment property and also use it as a holiday house. You have to pick which tax discounts you want.
Because a holiday house means it's like a primary place of residence. Is
It
that?
means, you use it as a holiday house. So like the primary purpose for you from the tax
Is a
office
house.
perspective is a holiday house
Yeah.
rather than an investment property. And the tax office is just like fucking, you can pick which one. You can't have both.
You
So-
can't negatively gear and then not pay capital gains tax on
Yes.
the increments.
What
Yeah.
does the $5 an hour refer to? I didn't actually read this story.
I think they're talking about that's how much they would
They
earn if they worked. Like if the house, if like they were working,
Which $5 an hour is not bad given you do nothing.
Yeah.
literally nothing.
You just own a fucking property.
Quite
Yeah.
literally
Oh
nothing.
Oh my god!
You're making the improvement on the value of the product. So these people, like, they literally, these middle class people
All
in
they
our
do is
country,
whinge.
they literally just think
all
the
they
government
fucking
exists to
do.
give them tax
Yeah.
breaks.
Yeah.
There's a really good quote in that article, and it's from like the one of the accountants or whatever, and it's the accountant is just like, if you're not committing tax fraud, you have nothing to worry about.
No wonder they're all erupting.
Yeah.
No wonder they're all erupting.
Riding out the party line.
Well, there was really big news last week.
Yeah.
I was up the road on Sydney Road, and I could basically feel the energy emitting from the Victorian Socialists Volunteer Centre, where teachers organised as part of Socialists in schools were having a celebration party because they just helped swing the vote of the proposed deal from the Victorian government, helped swing it to a no, because it was a substandard deal which did nothing for ES teachers, was a pay increase over 4 years instead of 3 and not as much as the claim was for. And this was a deal that was offered by the Victorian government and then accepted with glee by the AEU officials and rejected with fury by the teachers. So I think it's pretty freaking amazing that teachers have got the medal to stand up to both the union and the government and say we actually deserve more.
Yeah, totally. So ES staff got a lower wage rise than teachers, but then even within the teachers, there was a spectrum.
And they're already the most like underpaid ES staff in the country.
And teachers as well.
Yeah.
So, and this agreement would have made teachers and ES staff like not the least paid for about 3 months until New South Wales started their negotiations. But the main thing people rebelled against, like the pay was significant. It was like 26 over 4 instead of 35 over 3. But the big thing was conditions. There was nothing on conditions, no reduction of class sizes, no reduction in face-to-face teaching time, no reduction in the number of pointless bureaucratic meetings. The main improvement was like another day of professional development, which no teachers like. You just sit in a room, the principal organizes some boring expert, from some NGO to come in and lecture you about something.
Yep.
You just sit there bored out of your brains, like doing the worksheets that they've provided, and then you go home. Like, it's not genuinely planning time. It's not, it doesn't deal with the load through the year. It's just this one-off thing. So people were really angry. It was rejected for 58 to 42, which is overwhelming. It's more than like any Australian government's been elected for ages. On the other hand, it's close.
Yeah.
And I think it really is a reflection of the hard work that the comrades and
Totally.
Socialists in school did. We collected data on a quarter of all schools in Victoria.
Wow.
And in those schools, the no vote was winning like 75 to 25.
That's awesome.
So that shows, obviously, we had a biased sample because we didn't end up with that.
The people who contact you are the people who
are
support
good.
your arguments.
But then also it shows that without that work,
Yeah.
he wouldn't have carried, because there's a lot of schools where like one union member who's decent in a small school, they got one vote. It was one from 1 to 20 people, and then 2 from 21 to 40. So basically, like, if you had one union member, you got the same vote as a school with 20, and half the vote as a school with 40.
Yeah.
So very much skews towards the smaller. So it's a massive win. And actually, the no vote was strong across both primary and secondary.
Because I remember speaking to some of the teachers and they thought that potentially the primary schools were less strong and less organised than maybe some of the high schools.
They tend to be historically, but we're speculating that maybe the fact that ES staff are much more integrated into primary school environments. Like usually you have the same one in your class, you get to know them very well, and the fact that their situation was not improved at all. Like there's no paid lunch break for these people. They're
Far out.
They're almost on the minimum wage. Like it's shocking. So it's a massive win.
And then I remember that the last EA, the no vote didn't win, but it was substantial.
44, I think.
Yeah, which indicates that there has been, years and years of a crap deal, which has put pay and condition even back, like more backward than it was before. So you're starting from a lower base than you might have been starting from. But then I think also does illustrate the organising efforts that have happened in the last number of years, which means that there's a bit more expression to that sort of, that feeling of we're being neglected, we're being left behind.
Yeah, because that was 44% no to an agreement that offered like 2% wage rises a year.
Yeah.
So that's good, but I don't think you could just guarantee that would be the same result this time because, it wasn't what we asked for, but 28/4 is very different to, 8/4. And it's actually the first time ever that a government proposed and union accepted proposal has been rejected in the teachers' union.
Wow.
Since the 80s when this thing started, when the AU existed basically, and this process started taking place. So it's a total earthquake. They were not expecting it at all. They're very surprised and shocked. Yeah. And now they're sort of working out how to respond. And basically it's... The Liberals are funny because they don't support teachers getting paid more, but they're like attacking the government for like not doing
order in the school.
Exactly,
It's going to be industrial chaos.
And then the Labor Party has been attacking the union leadership
for not doing
cracking down on their members.
That's not what they've said. They've said they're out of touch.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
And so basically they're blaming they're blaming the union leaders for the problem. And obviously that we critique the union leaders, but like
it's like, come on, the government could have just offered the fucking deal.
The union leaders would have accepted a better deal. Like they didn't want to fight for it, but they would have accepted it.
Yeah.
So clearly Labor are the primary villains
out of
here.
touch. Well, villain, I think this is the best word because I was watching the TV reports because our comrade Liz Walsh from Socialists in Schools did this like incredible press conference.
She was on like every channel.
And I was just like bing, 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 bing. But I think that Ben Carroll casts the most villainous figure. Yeah. He's like, and I will not be rushed back to the negotiating table anytime soon. And it's like he's got this like
charisma.
Slicked black, like fucking Draco Malfoy. Yes. Wet. And it's like, fuck you. Yeah. And then it's like contrast to Liz and she's like, teachers deserve everything. And it's like, and it's like the thumping victory. Oh,
it was really good.
So good.
So the Labor Party are like the main problem here. But then the union leadership, their line has been, well, we never really advocated for this deal.
Which is such bullshit.
We run a democratic union and the members have spoken, so we're going to go back to the government.
Because he was pressed on it. Like Justin was pressed on Raph Epstein, like, should you not have, was it a bad move to endorse this deal? It's like, we never did that.
No. And it's like, they sent like a mountain of yes material. Like they sent the newsletter 3 days before the vote saying, hey, everyone vote no. Every email said vote no. Every video said vote no.
Vote no.
Vote no. Oh, vote yes.
Vote yes.
Yeah. Everything vote yes.
And there's a quote from him saying this is a deal that we can endorse. Like to the media. Like what do you mean?
All of it. Every video said vote yes. And they were blocking anyone who was saying vote no from their socials. Yeah. Like Instagram, it's one of the biggest scandals of the whole thing. And probably why so many people voted no, to be honest, because, it's just like
people don't like being a mug.
Yeah, exactly. You weren't allowed to comment. All these union reps, like delegates who run their schools' presidents, were being banned from the union socials just for saying like, no, I don't think this is a good deal. So everyone's looking bad except the rank and file rebellion that Socialists in Schools really helped lead. And so it's put us on the front foot, I guess, to begin to fight for more.
Yeah. And like on the significance as well, like it's like we know like the level of industrial struggle in the country is quite low at the moment. But this is, the first, and also like considering the union was like literally forcing a yes vote to a deal that even when they got the no vote, they were talking about how there were such good things in the deal. Like it's quite significant. Like the biggest kind of union endorsed no vote, like a no vote to a like, I mean, it's historic. There's something significant about that, and I think it's something that we should not like we should celebrate it, and I don't know. I think it means some stuff for the rest of us, not just the people in the AU.
Yeah, because, I mean, from looking in from the outside, you could see all of these organising meetings, campaign meetings. Socialists in schools ran basically like a strike school to talk about how do you help to organise people in your workplace and win them to a position that there needs to be more strikes. And then once the strikes were called off, transitioned into how do you win people to the argument that we need to vote no. We had members who were going to the regional council meetings, like regional branch meetings, passing motions, and it got to the point where eventually it wasn't even just socialists in schools people, like people who saw that happening contacted the page to be like, can you send me the motion so I can pass this in my meeting? And so it was sort of like this process of like kind of concentric circles, like one gear turning another gear. But I think the thing that is just so fantastic about that is that there was it was explicitly like, we want to organise people who see themselves as socialists. And it's actually about trying to build up a network of working class people across, well, we're in Victoria, eventually across the country, but we're starting here. Build up networks of people in their workplaces who are like, I want to fight for socialist politics and I want to win people to socialist politics. And I think that's an incredible step forward for all of us. And I agree, it's not just the teachers, it shows what's possible.
Yeah, and it makes sense that the core of any union fight back is going to be people with a political worldview beyond just like the next EBA. Like, obviously workers all want and deserve pay rises and better conditions, but like, that's not going to motivate you to fight for year on year on year on year for decades and decades. Just that you need to have a broader vision of what kind of society you want to see. And in the teaching, in the school sector, people can see the whole education system's crumbling. Private schools are getting billions of dollars. The disparity is extreme, and the conditions are getting worse. And so there's an argument that like, what kind of society do we want? And that's what Socialists in Schools is really strong on. That yes, we're fighting for wages and conditions, but we're fighting for an education system that can actually look after working class people and can make it's an improvement for the whole of society, for working class parents, for kids, and for the teachers and staff there as well. So it's a unified argument, and the fact that socialists are at the core fits with like every historical rebellion of workers. Is that some kind of leftist organization has been at the core of rebellion, and that doesn't mean like not working with others. Like there are plenty of people. So in the process of the Vote No campaign, there was like a Vote No network formed, which was slightly wider than just Socialists in Schools. And it was a bunch of people from a bunch of places who were not necessarily as political. But Socialists in Schools people were like the linchpin of that. And so like each person in the SIS caucus had a number of schools they were liaising with and talking to and giving advice to and so on. And then those people were then giving advice to people they knew. So that's how we ended up reaching a quarter of all schools. It's not like we have people in a quarter of all schools, but it's that network which was really capable of making things happen. And like I said, I just think there's no way this would have gotten up without our efforts, because winning by 8%, it's like it's a good win, like it's bigger than any election wins, but it's not so overwhelming that it's just like it just would have happened.
Yeah, totally.
So what's next for the teachers? Obviously, Ben Carroll says he's not going to be rushed back to the negotiating table.
I think he will be rushed back. I think he's desperate to wrap this up.
Yeah, there's a sort of month called...
isn't it?
How many months away from November are we?
Still a while.
But yeah.
So basically, the union met, the branch council of the union, which is like the executive, and they decided to do nothing.
Oh, that's good.
Unfortunately, they rejected motions.
Really in touch.
Moved by...
Tried nothing and all out of ideas.
Yeah. So some people moved motions to call for immediate strike action. They rejected those. They rejected 2 versions of that. And so instead, they're doing a survey to see, one, what people would like to improve and by implication, what they would like to accept. So what are the things we can trade off? And then 2, what kind of industrial action we should take? And so there's going to be a 4-week-long survey.
You'd think they would do that at the start.
Well, they did.
That's the thing.
But yeah, I was going to say,
There's
like,
a
wasn't
ballot.
there already
Have
all
the
these
fucking
surveys?
answer.
There's a ballot. Every member voted, and
Yeah.
99% of people supported everything. And so
Yeah.
the union leadership have all the power to do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah, you know what they want.
But they want to delay.
Yeah.
So
Which is also interesting because it's quite clear that they were forcing the yes vote because there's an election coming up.
Yeah.
And they don't want Labor to be embarrassed. So delaying this, you can't delay it until after the election.
Yeah.
It's just not possible.
But it's sort of punishing people for rebelling, you know.
Totally.
So we're going to wait 4 weeks, do a survey. Then there's going to be a branch council meeting on the 17th of July, which will then respond to the survey, which has taken a month to collate. So our argument is that we need to pass like an avalanche of motions calling for strike action. And so everyone we know is having union meetings this week, passing motions for strike action. Our basic proposal was like week 2 of term 3. Some other people have suggested August 4 as a date, which is fine by us. And then other people, like in Liz Walsh's school, her workmates were like, we don't want to wait till term 3. We want to do it this week.
Nice.
And so they
It's
amended
the last
it.
week of school.
I know.
this
I mean,
week,
what a
yeah?
great week
Yeah,
for a strike.
totally.
Like nobody wants to be there.
Yeah.
So if we were in charge, definitely we just would have struck this week. But unfortunately, things move slowly in the union movement. So basically, the left is fighting, and socialists and schools are fighting for a strike early in term 3. The union leaders are fighting to delay. I think they're probably going to have to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so obviously our job will be to maximize that, whatever that is. And then there's talk of some schools initiating a protest outside Ben Carroll's office because he's the education minister before that to kind of keep the pressure on them and the union. So in the immediate sense, passing motions for strike action and then probably a protest sometime week 1 or 2 next term.
That's sick. I saw like some arguments around the nitty gritty stuff around the protected action ballot and things like that. But the protected action ballot was passed and you did go on strike. So therefore that's just on the table.
Everything can
kind
be
of
done
until the end of the negotiation.
You have to give 5 days notice, but like they could have done 5 days and it could have been this Friday.
Totally.
That would have been fine. Or you could have done next week. Or you could just say, fuck it. You know, we're 35,000 teachers in an election year.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? Like, do you really want to fire 35,000 teachers or anything like that? There's basically no one's ever been punished for this stuff. Like, it's just so rare. You know, because
when there's such a will to do it, and so many people,
it's just like the union leadership used the rules to justify doing nothing, which is what they were going to do anyway, kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, all power to the teachers.
Yeah, get involved. Socialists in schools.
Hopefully we get to go on another big strike rally.
it'd be so
That would
cool.
be really good.
Definitely.
Riding out the party line.
So last week, Pauline Hanson was invited to the illustrious press club to give a speech.
National Press Club, no less.
Sorry. I didn't give it its due credit.
International Galactic Press Club.
It's ridiculous. I really love
very
watching
important press
the
club.
crowd shots of the press club because it's like, I don't know, half of them some of them are journalists, but then some of them are just like sponsored by Westpac
Yeah,
or whatever. They're just like rich
It's just
people.
the great and the good.
And they get dinner and stuff. Like they get
And
food. I
wine.
didn't realize that. Like what the fuck?
But anyways, that's
We
not
should
really
start a petition to get Geordie at the press
Yes.
Put me in there.
Wait, as an audience or speaker?
club. No, the speaker.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no! I don't want to talk to these people. Like fuck these people.
Well, as Pauline Hanson has showed, it gives you a national platform
Yeah.
if you can do it. But I think there's sort of two things. Well, one thing of note before getting into Hanson's sort of disgusting speech. The first thing to say is just that this is such a legitimation and like publicization of Pauline Hanson. The press club giving her this opportunity to speak has really just confirmed that she is not on the fringe anymore. She's firmly part of the sort of mainstream of Australian politics.
And they've done their best to make that happen.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
through hard work, they've brought her into the mainstream from, guest appearances on Dancing with the Stars and being an anti-terrorism expert on Channel 7 News and then all the front cover coverage she gets in the press, and then they give her this spot.
Yeah.
Like it's really hard to get this spot. It's not like the Greens get this spot all the time.
Yeah.
And it's not like we're gonna be given this spot. And it's like so much of thinking that some politics are beyond the pale. You know, they're basically saying this is legitimate, it's normal, it's totally valid politics, and it's true from their perspective. It is like they agree with her much more than they would agree with us.
Yeah. And I think they really want to emphasise sections of the media, not all of it, but sections of the media want to emphasise that it would be a smart decision, basically, for people to vote Hanson in and for there to be a one nation government, basically.
Yeah, she looked ready to govern according to these freaks.
It's like when Trump was giving those batshit crazy, insane speeches, and they're like,
which ones?
He looks,
Yeah,
he's looking good.
Yeah.
So the content of Hanson's speech was, I think, really just it is further to the right than what people like Marine Le Pen would say, for example, or a bunch of the far right leaders across Europe. It's to the right of what Giorgia Meloni in Italy would say. It was a just across the board spray and attack on working class and minorities. So the headline is obviously calling for a monoculture in Australian society, but she attacked 50% of the population, people who were born overseas or who had a parent born overseas. That's all three of us.
That's all three of us. Yeah.
So we're in the crosshairs. But then also attacked childcare workers, attacked maternity
Workers generally.
leave, attacked the fact that you can't fire workers,
Yep.
And put her position as she is for a monoculture on one hand and for raw business imperatives on the other.
Yeah, it was a real mask-off moment. Like, there was no attempt to present, you know, I'm getting ready to govern, I'm moving to the mainstream, I'm really normal and respectable in establishment. It was like, nah. I'm known for my anti-migrant racism. I'm going to keep doing that. But by the way, let me tell you about what I think about workers and women.
Yeah. Hold on.
Everyone else. Unless you're a bank, an agribusiness, or a fucking corporate executive, I'm going to war with you.
Yeah.
Which it fits with the far right politics that she's about. Despite being constantly described as a populist. What's populist about saying businesses should have the right to fire workers who are lazy? You got to think about the other side of the coin, what about these poor businesses who just have all these workers who play on their phones? What do bosses do?
Yeah.
They literally just play on their phones all day while they're not harassing their workers. So it was a real mask-off moment and an expansion of her agenda from being just niche anti-immigration to being just a widespread far right. Yeah, I mean, Trump. Would Trump ever have said, I think workers are lazy? That's not his thing. Trump's politics is I'm for the American working class, and Le Pen and stuff, they don't think, it's just it's so deliberately and explicitly anti-worker, which is the majority of the population. It's quite a new thing.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to sort of exaggerate it too much. Le Pen did support the attacks on pensioners and on
they went to the protests initially
reduction of
them.
the working day or whatever. I mean, the increase in the working day and stuff like that. The far right did support a bunch of those attacks, but I think it's.
But they didn't make it there that. That's their image. That's their publicly presented image.
And they often say they want to increase the welfare state for white French people against whereas she's just nah, everyone on welfare get fucked.
The anti-worker stuff is, it feels like they're kind of wedged in there at the end, oh, by the way, also fuck everyone.
But I think the main sort of thing to say regarding this speech is that I think Omar mentioned it before, but it's not an attempt to sort of moderate the image in order to bring a wider section of people in, which is the way that mainstream liberal politics sort of thinks about how you do politics. You just have to water down in order to get the biggest audience. But in fact, that's just not how insurgent movements or whatever work. The thing that Hanson is doing is saying, fuck everybody, fuck workers, fuck women, fuck everybody except the businesses, and hardening up the people who already support her. She's trying to expand her base by hardening up the base. And I think this is what this speech was about.
Yeah, I mean, how many members does the party have now?
60,000 or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I don't know, someone can fact check us out in the comment.
Yeah, I think there's a 9 in there. It's 49 or 59 or something. But anyway, the energization of the base is so right. You're so right about that. Because the thing matters is like feeding your base like what they want. And it's like Barnaby Joyce speaking at that anti-abortion rally. He wasn't winning votes by doing that, but it's just like recruitment, you know, like you recruit the people you agree with and you win them and say like, if you elect me, I'm going to fight for you. Trump did that with the Christians as well. Yeah. Trump's always supported abortion rights. The guy, he would have needed it a lot of times, like to impose himself on the poor women who he's raped and stuff.
Yeah.
So like, but then when he wanted to run for president, he knew I need the Christian right. And so he did a deal with them. And Reagan did the same thing back in the 80s, you know, like this is how you do politics. You identify your base, you galvanize them, you inspire them, and then you go to war with a mobilized community. Like, it's like the opposite of what the Labor Party does. They just demoralize and depress their base. Yeah. Oh, you think you can have a better Medicare system?
Wrong.
No.
Yeah.
Free university education? No, can't do that, you know, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, like the casting the wider net kind of thing is the Labor approach. It's obviously not working. So Pauline's like, well, I can just project an image of strength. And that does work because all of these people in this room actually really like that. That's why I'm here. But I wanted to talk about the monoculture thing because I feel like that wasn't... Like, that's a bacterial term to talk about. Like, it's a scientific term that now I feel like she gets to control what it means. And obviously, it's a word that she's using in, you know, replacement of the word white. Like, she wants a white kind of culture. But I just thought that was really quite fascinating.
Like against multiculturalism.
Yeah, against multiculturalism. Like, it's a racist kind of term. But I've never heard other people, like other right-wing people... use the term monoculture. I feel like it's her term now. Like it's a creation of her.
Yeah, I think like the thing that people on the right often say is like a Judeo-Christian
Yeah, that's right.
culture. But yeah, it's just sort of like, just go for it. Just say like absolutely nobody who's not what I'm like. And yeah, I think it was an acceleration of what she's been saying in the past. And I think the thing about attacking 50% of the population is a reflection of that. It's like you're going all out. And I think a lot of the liberal press just can't understand it. Like Peter Harcher's put out an editor, whatever it is, article about this, and has just said like, oh, how is she going to get away with attacking majorities? It's like,
well,
John Howard did it. Yeah, you know, people do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Labor does it most of the time. Like, so it's sort of, I think the stuff about migration and monoculture definitely is radical and significant. But like the thing about workers, I reckon the media find really hard to understand in a way because they kind of think they keep calling her a populist, and so people who don't follow the details of things would just assume she's a populist. But then this thing about workers being lazy, they were a little bit shocked by. They were like, oh, this is going against the playbook, you know? Like most people don't say like 70% of the population are lazy. It's not usually a good election thing. But the thing is, it's about galvanizing the supporters. But also most people don't follow politics that much. So so mostly it's about vibes. People see a headline, oh, Pauline like being scandalous. And for the disengaged kind of right wing.
Yeah, they're like, oh, she should give it to them.
Yeah, like, exactly. Like fuck the elites, you know.
Yeah.
But it's not really it's not a left wing sentiment at all, but it's just like every scandal she creates is just a win for her. I thought the Get Up banner was really good.
It was good.
Yeah, what did it say? Like she gives herself $100,000 pay rise.
Yeah, while it's denying workers theirs. Yeah, it was really awesome. And she obviously didn't know how to respond when it happened, and then got like quite agitated a little bit later. But
it's just a bloody stunt.
The moment where she like increased her inflection in the speech didn't really make sense. Like it was obvious that she was like, it was like a delayed response to the banner drop. It was like fun to watch. But yeah, then it's like the press club puts out this statement being like, this is being followed up by the Australian Federal Police because this was a security breach, and then like basically just like attacks this, you know, the organizer of Get Up.
Keir Starmer would call it terrorism, I reckon.
Well, that's basically what the press is doing.
Yeah.
Like if you get the AFP involved, that's like threat to politician's life.
It's so undemocratic. It's like this idea that no one should be allowed near a politician
or to heckle or anything like that.
Dropping a banner behind a politician is like a security risk. Like why?
I was joking with my housemates because we had a comrade who when Simon Birmingham was the education minister. One of our comrades was the NUS education officer, and he got his way into the press club during one of Birmingham's speech and got up on the stage and like threw a napkin in his face. It was not the best coordinated political action, you might wonder, but it's like, imagine if he'd done that. Now, like, he would have been chucked in fucking jail. Like, the sort of the limited space for like sort of democratic protest, you sort of feel maybe is closing here.
But it's so biased because at the Marxism conference, the security guards we had also work for Lydia Thorpe sometimes.
Oh, right.
And they were saying that her office gets attacked like all the time, like constantly, with like Nazis and far right thugs, like constantly violent attacks on her office. And the AFP couldn't give a shit. No one gives a shit. So it's so selective. Like mainstream establishment pro-capitalist politicians, we love you, we protect you. But like as if, you know, they would care if some neo-Nazi came to like Annika's house if she gets elected. Like,
totally.
You know, the state does not exist to defend socialists or the left. But like, this is a terrorist threat.
Yeah. So there's the attacks on working class people, which I think, really significant. They need to be fired. It has to be easier for bosses to fire people. They get paid too much. This is like, I think, a centre point of what Pauline's politics are about. But then there was the whole broad sweep of things. So one thing is the question of attacks on abortion rights, which I think is quite a significant move. Obviously, One Nation supported getting rid of abortion rights in South Australia. It didn't pass, but Peter Malinauskas tried to help them do that.
Like
just
Peter
as a side note.
the police minister and another Labor minister, they all voted for it.
But so Pauline Hanson has now said that there's too many abortions in Australia. They want to ban terminations after 20 weeks. Barnaby Joyce has spoken at a anti-abortion rally in New South Wales. And so I think it's like another example of they're not starting with something that just has broad popular appeal. This is something that people support abortion rights in Australia, and they have for a while now. But it's another example of trying to have this campaign where people are pulled towards it. So it's another thing of like this, you put the stake and you know, they're getting people to come to it sort of thing.
It's the opposite of Labor. Like Labor do this half-hearted CGT thing.
And then fold.
And then back down.
they're embarrassed about it. It's like they think it's logical and technocratically appropriate, but they don't really want to say the rich have too much money or whatever. So they don't argue for their own policy, and then they back down and they get fucked and they actually lose popularity out of a thing that like the vast majority of people would support if they understood what it was. So it's like where the right are prepared to take a stand, the soft left just like go to water and refuse to fight any kind of politics.
So then related to that is the attack on parental
This
leave.
was absolutely
so
batshit.
the line in it was basically like, why should a company have to pay if you've chosen to have a baby?
Poor companies, like they're just so hard done by.
But it's like the sort of the logical extension of this argument is that women should just only see themselves as like machines to raise children, and there should be no financial support to do it. It's just basically your biological job that you have to do this. Again, this is not something that is like generally popular amongst people, but I think that it's tied into like the abortion question, traditional sort of conservative sort of position to take. But also one of the things that Pauline Hanson did when she was in Parliament for the first time around was actually influence the family court laws when John Howard was the Prime Minister to mean that men were favoured in the family courts. There's a book by Jess Hill called See What You Made Me Do, which investigates basically what has been the result of these changes in the family court. And what it's meant is that abusive men are able to use family courts to abuse women and children even further. This is what Pauline Hanson did.
And she's still not happy. Like, it's one of her campaign talking points is like making the family courts even more pro-men because women get too much custody and stuff. But it's like, it's pretty, I mean, it's so irrational from a capitalist point of view because they want women to work. And parental leave is just like an absolute necessity for women to work because if you just say you're going to have a baby and you're just out and you're gone and no job's going to be there for you, like people will have even less kids than they are now. Which, and which the capitalists don't want, and which definitely the far right culture warriors don't want, because if you don't have any kids, then you're just going to have to keep importing people.
Monoculture.
So it's a really irrational thing, but it just reflects like if you understand her as like the right wing of the Liberal Party, everything makes more sense.
Yeah.
People really tie themselves in knots. Oh, what does One Nation represent?
Yeah.
It's just like the extreme right wing of the Liberals who just oppose everything to do with the welfare state.
Yeah.
Totally conservative on every question.
Yeah.
And then it makes perfect sense. It's just her anti-welfare politics coming out, you know.
And then, I mean, connected to the thing of being, you know, the extreme right of the Liberal Party is also the denial of climate change as a really existing thing in society.
This is coal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
Learn to love it.
Yeah.
overwhelmingly popular.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And so Hanson, in this speech, like attacked the fact that green energy companies are getting subsidies, like attacked Twiggy Forrest for investing
Green
too much
hydrogen.
into, which is like, I think shows where Gina's getting the money from. She's getting, exactly, where Hanson's getting the money from. She's getting it from Gina, who, whatever, Twiggy is not her best friend.
I mean, green hydrogen was a total red herring.
Well, totally,
which could
but
have been predicted.
I think like it sort of just reflects the whole thing of the people that she thinks should be getting subsidies is Gina Reinhardt and her ilk. But yeah, the sort of argument that climate change is just a myth that's been promoted by the woke lefties. And what we just need to do is we just need to dig up the country.
And nuclear.
And nuclear.
So, I mean, the thing about climate change and nuclear, like, there actually is a backsliding on all these questions. I saw in the Harcher article that you referenced, I think he says that support for Australia having a nuclear weapon has gone up by like 7
Far out, yeah.
or like 9% or something in the last few years.
Significant.
Yeah. So, and then support for action on climate change is like really dropping.
Yeah.
Because the right have successfully manipulated the debate into being
A question
carbon is cheap and green is
this
expensive.
Your data-
which is like an inversion of the reality.
Yeah.
But it's partly because the climate movement was so middle class in its leadership. They argued, you should all sacrifice.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? People don't sign up to sacrifice. They want to. There is an argument, and it's actually true that we'd all be better
nor
off.
should we? Yeah.
We'd all be better off under a more rational relationship with the planet. But yeah, so there's actually backsliding on all these things. And actually, I think even support for abortion was down. Like, there's a bunch of things.
Wow.
It's still like a majority, but it's just that the right wing are getting cohered and radicalized.
Yeah.
And so basically all the polls are moving in the wrong direction because that 30% of right-wingers are getting way more right-wing and conscious on every question.
And more confident to stand by them and proselytize about them as well.
My cousin, who Lebanese woman, like, she's now like anti-Palestine.
Whoa.
And it all started with COVID. She was like, she got anti-vax and she went to she was marching with us against the Gaza genocide for the first year. But now she's pro-Israel.
Oh my God.
And like off the rails and pro-Hanson.
Oh my God.
So that's the thing. Like the right are fighting for a worldview and they're aggressive in doing that. And they're having an impact.
Yeah, and speaking of the pro-Israel stuff, we don't have it in the notes, but we should talk about the Gina.
Oh, saying that land should be given to Israelis. Incredible.
Which
and Elon Musk and...
In her speech, which we're going to show a bit of a video of in a moment, she talked about how there's all of this land in Australia that's not being used. And so the thing that we could do is really help out the Israeli population who are under siege and under attack by the Palestinians.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and give Elon Musk some of the land as well to build his spaceships and missiles from. And, crazy.
That's such a good policy.
But I think that this Gina moment is the real icing on the cake. I see it as if Pauline Hanson's speech was like the main part of a book, this is like the appendices or
the epilogue.
Exactly. So just going to play a little bit of it.
You all sound like bulldozers, please. Grrr. Come on, I want some bulldozer noise. Pauline, can I... Oh, beautiful. Pauline, may I invite you to the stage quickly, please?
Quickly, please. So then,
Come here, servant.
Quickly, please. So that clip is from the beginning of a moment in Gina Reinhardt's speech where she quickly gets Pauline Hanson up on stage to give her an orange bulldozer as a sort of callback and reference to the moment where Elon Musk gave Milei, the fascist leader in Argentina, a chainsaw to represent the slashing, cutting and destruction of social services and what they refer to as red tape to just just allow business interests to run rampant over the community. So I think the reason why I think this is so connected into Pauline Hanson's speech is because it reflects what Pauline Hanson's political mission is. It's hard right attacks on the entire sort of swathe of working class people across Australia, and then everything for the bosses. And this bulldozer is, I think, sort of, and Gina's right about this being like a visual representation of the project of One Nation and Pauline Hanson.
Yeah, and the fact that it's like a Temu version is manifested in the fact that it's a plastic bulldozer,
tiny,
as opposed to a real chainsaw.
And it was like a big chainsaw.
So that's classic Australia for you.
Yeah, I think it's just demonstrative of the, like, you know, we had the press club thing where she's not moderating. She's had the opportunity to moderate for so many years to try and attract people, and now she's you know, on the rise. She can be like, actually, this is what I believe on all of these like right-wing positions, and it's bringing more people to it, even though some of them are objectively unpopular. And then it's like, also, this is who I'm being paid by. Like, this is the literal, like, physical embodiment of the interests that I represent. And like, please ignore her, like, beckoning me up to the stage and telling me to come quickly.
Please come up to the stage quickly.
And then she like denounces the crowd for not doing the bulldozer noise loud enough. Oh, comedy gold. But I think, Omar, so you said before about how a bunch of the polls are going backwards. Like, ideas are not getting generally better amongst people. In some places in some questions they are, and others they're getting worse. But I actually think that is an example of why social movements and building the the socialist politics as well are so important, because you think about when ideas are the best around questions, it's when there's groups of people who are actively fighting for those questions, and there's a kind of physical manifestation of an argument in society. You think about the question of Palestine, there was like a physical manifestation of why what Israel was doing is wrong, in the form of, you know, 80,000, 100,000, 300,000 people on the streets. But I think... And
87% of Australians now have a negative view of Israel.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but I think that the question of Pauline Hanson, because the attacks are so far-reaching, it's not the case that you can just have a social movement on the streets that is strong enough to actually push back against what Hanson's... Like, you can't have like a single issue focus around this. It's not like the climate movement or Palestine, where it's just like you can just organise around just one question and that's going to be enough to push them back. I think it actually means that you need socialist politics. Yeah. I think socialist politics represents the natural enemy to the politics of the far right. We stand for workers. We stand for women. We stand for migrants. We stand for action on the climate crisis. And we stand against the rich and powerful being able to ride roughshod over working class people. And so I think we need to really focus efforts into building socialist politics to be able to confront the rise of the far right.
Yeah, I mean, like, because like, she's just demonstrated, just how broad and right-wing all of the messages are. And like, I think it's a really good example of why just a social movement that isn't socialist is going to be enough, because there might be some people who agree with like one particular aspect of her unpopular agenda, like whether that be her attacks on trans people or abortion or women or workers or whatever, that aren't, like, you can cohere people around climate that might be middle class and have opposing class interests and all that kind of stuff. But when it's all just so right wing, the only like solution to that is a socialist position to all of these things. And we need to do that. We need to build that that opposition.
Yeah, because like if she does form government somewhere, which might start in Victoria in November and go from there, like there obviously will be opposition around the specific attacks that she does. Yeah. But like before then, and even during then, like what's our alternative? It can't just be the system as it is now. Let's just keep going with that. Yeah. Like on climate change, okay, she's like extreme and like irrational, like anti-science irrationalism, which is classic of the far right. But like the Labor and the Greens parties are effectively doing the same thing. They're not saying the same thing, but they're doing the same thing. They're destroying the world. Like literally, we're destroying the planet. Australia is one of the biggest carbon emitters on the planet with our exports of coal and gas. And so objectively, okay, it's obviously better if people don't just say things that go against basic facts and science. But like in practice, capitalism is against the planet.
Yeah.
And actually, you know, to oppose that, you need to be a socialist because there's a lot of money to be made in carbon. And that's what Labor and the Greens have come up against and basically accepted. That the capitalists care too much about it. It's not worth fighting. Same with women. Like people have been fighting for women's rights for centuries, and we make these gains, and it's like things improve. And it happened with LGBT rights as well, with the marriage equality thing. But then like the system survives and the right just find a way to push back. And it's like this endless game of tug of war. It's shit. We don't win this way. We have to deal with the root cause, which is capitalism. And that's the advantage that socialists have. We can actually identify what the root cause is. We're not just dealing with the kind of the Band-Aid solutions constantly.
Totally. It's a good, like, it reminds me of that Sam Warman artwork. They're like, no permanent victories, no permanent defeats. I think
Except socialism.
Except for, yeah, I mean, like, this is what we're fighting for.
Yeah, that's right.
Totally.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I think obviously when there are campaigns around specific issues or like attacks on specific issues, we want to be involved in the fight around that. So if there's a move to, you know, overturn abortion rights in Victoria, like obviously we want to organise demonstrations and protests around that. But I think it's really right to point that it's like at some point we need to build a movement that's not just defensive, pushing back against like every single attack that comes, but actually can move into a more aggressive footing actually, and win a better life for working class people. Like, and that's what socialist politics is about. It's about actually smashing both the pro-business status quo that's been represented by Labor for nearly 25 years in Victoria, and then before that. So smashing that status quo, but also pushing back against the far right. And the working class actually doesn't have an interest in either of those things.
And there's all these like stupid disorganizing ideas around the left, which are like anti-party, anti-politics. But like the right are not like that. They understand to make anything happen, you need organizations. They've always had organizations. They've had fascist organizations. They've had the Liberal Party. They've had the National Party. And now they're constructing this new one. And they have these incredible online structures and organizations and media outlets. And they run, obviously, the corporate media, half of it, you know, already. And they're influential across the board. Like that's what the right have. So the left needs to build institutions, counter institutions, like institutions that represent us and can organize us and can manifest our ideas at a mass level. No one's going to do that for us, you know? And so this idea that like liking and sharing something on Instagram is sufficient or whatever, or just turning up to the occasional rally. We've been doing that. We did that with Gaza. We turned up to dozens of rallies. How many rallies? It wasn't enough. It's not that the rallies weren't good, but it's that our power as organised leftist anti-imperialist was not there.
Yeah, I mean, I've sort of said this anecdote a few times maybe in your guys' presence, but I was in the Tasmanian Socialists delegate conference for the Socialist Party's federal conference that's happening in July. In the room was a guy called Peter from the Launceston branch, and he said there's been such incredible social movements in the last couple of decades. The Arab Spring, the Occupy Wall Street and the movement against the global financial crisis, the Palestine Solidarity Movement, Black Lives Matter, the climate movement, all of these social movements, but there haven't been institutions to harness those movements into things with staying power that can actually win, that can actually push back. And he made the argument that we need to actually build up the Socialist Party to be that kind of institution in society that can have force, that can have presence, that can win. And I think it was such an excellent point. And I think anyone listening to this podcast, it's like you have to help us build that force in society that can fight for us. Like you need to be part of it.
Yeah, there's like an election coming up in Victoria, and we're running in like almost all the seats. There's something like 2,000 polling booths or something in Victoria. So even just, and obviously there's some in the middle of nowhere and they're like 50 people vote there. So they don't matter. But there's there's like 1,500 voting booths in like substantial places, something like that. Like even just to have one person in every booth, that's 1,500 people. Like that's never been done by a socialist party in Victoria. And so that's the most minimum challenge is to have, but like actually we need more than that because we know most people don't do a whole day. Hardcore people like me and Annika, you know, but like the average punter, fair enough, might sign up for 3 or 4 hours, whatever. So, you know, we need massive numbers of volunteers for polling day, but then all the campaigning before that. making social media, door knocking, postering, chalking. Like, there's so much that needs to be done, and every single person can help. And unlike the capitalists, we don't get donations from Gina Reinhardt. That means we can just pay a private company to make our videos. We can't pay, Australia Post to mail out every other day like Palmer does and Hanson now will do. It all relies on volunteer,
And a good example of what some of our volunteers can do actually come from your neck of the woods. Thomastown, Melbourne's north. It's not peri-urban, Thomastown.
No, it's like a middle ring suburb. It's like 15 k's from the city.
Just into the word peri-urban at the moment.
Yeah, I know.
It's definitely not peri-urban.
It's a bit odd.
But in Thomastown, one of our wonderful friends, Sarah Garnham, ran as a Victorian Socialist candidate in the Thomastown by-election. There's been about 5 fucking by-elections in Thomastown.
Not in Thomastown, in Whittlesea.
Yeah.
Because they're all like,
it's just corrupt.
Cookers just... Yeah, they've all
incredible.
resigned.
Anyways, so there was a contest in Thomastown and Sarah ran in it and ended up coming second on the primary vote with 18.4% of the vote in a situation where there were 9 other
which
candidates.
Is crazy.
And the Labor candidate who ended up winning had billboards. She's connected to BAU Systems or some shit.
She was on she's a HR manager for Lockheed Martin.
Yeah, like fucking hell.
That's a Labor Party candidate. HR manager for Lockheed Martin.
Sense, right? That makes sense.
But
they own like 6 businesses in the area.
Is it true to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the other candidates that ran were basically all just far right?
No, it's actually not true. There was like 3 Labor feeder tickets. They do this. They run 4 candidates in every by-election to funnel votes to each other. But then there were like 2 far right, 2 liberal. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
we beat all them.
Yeah.
And the not far right one is like an HR director for fucking Lockheed Martin. Like,
yeah, it's sort of like maybe these people are politically to the far right, but like she's actively
bad.
Her sign said community labour.
Oh,
nice.
So good community values there. That's what most people in Thomastown want, I think, is
but
Lockheed
I think
Martin.
Sarah getting 18.4% of the primary vote in Thomastown, a working class, diverse area, it's not going to be something that's recorded in the Hansard or something like that. But I think it shows that there's an audience out there for socialist politics, and we want to get that vote and higher replicated across all of Melbourne.
Yeah, I mean, Scarlet, like that area is really good. Like aside from Footscray, where I think in one booth we got like 25%, the highest other vote on any booths happened in Thomastown area, like one in Campbellfield where we got like 21% or something, or 19, and then one in Epping where we got 18. So, and then we got 17 across like a number of, so this is like the fact that a Socialist Party can poll those figures in like really working class, seats is a testament to the future. And that was when we were smaller than we are now. Like the last state election, we should say, we had like 400 members in Victoria.
Totally, yeah.
We now have 2,000. So this is good. We're starting, but we need to be like 4,000 or 5,000. So that's our mission, and help us out.
So I think it's really important for people to get involved. So if you're listening to the podcast, please become a member of the Socialist Party in your state.
Yeah, don't like and subscribe. Actually join.
Yeah.
But you can also like and subscribe if you want.
But first go to like Victorian Socialists or whatever the equivalent in your state is and become a financial member of the party. Get involved.
But also, like, tell your friends too. Like, I think this is really important. Like, look at the situation that we're living in. Like, it's horrible. This is all really urgent. So, like, talk to your friends, and if you're thinking about doing that, also get some friends too. But also, like, look at if you're in Victoria, look at the What's On page. Like, don't just join, get involved. We've got so much shit happening. And it's not shit. Shit is the wrong word. Good stuff. And then, like, get involved. Bring your friends, talk about like what your lefty friends are talking about too. Like let us know in the comments or whatever, because we can talk about that.
Yeah. And if you're in Victoria, the next big thing that's coming up is on the 1st of August, which is a Saturday, at 2 Watt Street in Thornbury at the Aboriginal Advancement League. We're having the launch of the 2026 state election campaign. Its title is A Socialist Manifesto. So come and find out what that is. And
do you think it'll be as good as the Communist Manifesto?
Close.
Look, look, it's like it's not the Socialist Manifesto, it's a Socialist Manifesto. So I
Okay.
don't think it's like on the same
It's meant
plane.
to be like a fleeting moment. We're not
One of the many.
we're not aiming for a text to be the best-selling text of all time.
Yeah, it's,
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be buried in any
Well, that's
working class
achievable.
people's caskets or anything
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But
We can do that.
shout out to
Unless you
JP.
want
It's
it
going
to
to be
be.
really good. Okay, let's stop now before we say anything else.
Riding out the party line.